I think that everybody should have a self-projection. You have to imagine how you see yourself. And if you see yourself as a superhero and an extremely disciplined and hardworking person and does amazing things, you have to understand that you're not going to be able to do that on drugs. So you need to have a mental projection in your mind of who you think you can be and who you want to be. And if that person is an extremely successful, extremely hardworking, extremely intelligent, extremely respected individual, he's probably not going to be doing drugs. Where's your duty? Where's your shame? Where's your self-inflicting morality? Where's your pride? So if you want to wake up and say, what kind of man am I? Am I a drug addict? Well, then go be a drug addict. What kind of man am I? Am I a man who has control of his life and control of his mind? You have to make a decision. If someone were to say to you right now, you can choose any emotion from the menu, would you choose happy? Let's say I gave you a menu of emotions and said, choose an emotion. You're not going to choose sad. Who would, right? Choosing happy can be just as destructive also, because if your only desire is to be happy regardless, no matter what it takes, that's when you're going to eat the cake, because the cake will make you happy. That's when you're going to take the drugs. Going to the club makes you happy. It's all dumb shit. If you were to choose proud, if you were to choose a different emotion or a different feeling inside, you would have no interest in these things. So I don't wake up and think, how do I feel happy? I wake up and say, how can I be proud of myself? What can I achieve that makes me proud of myself? How can I do things that make other people respect me and are proud of me? How do I live a life so my children look at me and go, Dad's a superhero? How do I make my mother call me and say, I couldn't possibly be more proud of you? For me, happiness is not a good indicator on how life should be lived. You shouldn't wake up and say, how happy am I today? How does that affect how I act? I wake up and say, what must be done? What will allow me to be proud of myself? What will allow me to achieve? And those things will be done regardless of how I feel. The most successful people on earth don't only do things because they feel happy about doing them. Nobody cares about men being happy. We talk about women being happy. We want children to be happy. If you look at a full-grown man on Christmas morning, he's smiling because his wife is smiling. He's smiling because his children are smiling. Nobody cares about men being happy. I'm a very content person. I live a fantastic life. I'm not sad ever, but I don't wake up and go, I want to be happy today. No, sir. I wake up and say, okay, things must be done. You can lock me in a dungeon for an unknown amount of time, and I will still complete as many push-ups as I can possibly do in the dark by myself. What else am I going to do? Sit there and be sad? It's called duty. It's called honor. It's called pride. If you had these things, you would never do dumb shit in the first place. I can't work out why you thought that was a smart thing to do or why it was worth doing. I would say that if you truly decide to quit, you will quit. It's very easy to say that you want to do something and not do it. I could quit cigars tomorrow. If I decided to quit, I really would like to quit, and then I carried on doing it. I don't think I really wanted to. If you really wanted to quit, you would quit. So if somebody has genuinely decided to quit drugs, I believe they would quit. If your image in your mind is of the kind of person who is controlled by a substance, I'd be embarrassed for a non-sentient substance, a powder, to control me. And it's my boss. What am I, a dumbass? I'm the boss of fucking tobacco and coffee, and I'm the boss of everything. Constantly, as a man, trying to chase happiness as the most destructive thing you can do for your life. Because you can't delay gratification. And the only thing that's going to make you happy quick is cheap happiness. Booze, cake, drugs, dumb shit. Real happiness, real contentment, and pride takes a long time to build. You have to be able to be unhappy, have a greater reward at the end. The most ironic thing about all of this is that if you don't prioritize happiness and you prioritize feeling proud of yourself, you end up happy by extension. If I would have chosen to try and be happy, I would have never ended up happy. In my experience of life, there's only one way to deal with anything. It doesn't matter if you're heartbroken, doesn't matter if you're sad, doesn't matter if your bank balance is low, doesn't matter if you go to jail, doesn't matter what it is. The answer to everything is always the same. Hard work. The worse things are, the harder I will work. I'll give you an example. Jail changed me and I had some trouble in there. Since I've left jail, I can't sleep. I have nightmares. I could sit around and complain about being tired. I could sit around and be a bitch. I could sit around and cry, or I could just work harder than I have ever worked. It's fantastic that I can't sleep. That's all the time I need. So my point is, the answer is always hard work. I'm struggling with something. I'm going to work less. Does that make sense to you? How's that going to fix anything? What else am I going to do? Sit around and mope like a dummy? The answer is always hard work. Anyone who's watching this, no matter what problem you're facing in your life, there's only one answer: work. If you're always working as hard as possible, it's actually very difficult for bad things to actually catch up with you. You can take the antidote before the poison. Most people don't even work very hard. You people at home, you think you work hard. You could work a lot harder. Tell me something in the last 48 hours you've done that's worthy of pride.
I was reading and spending time with a book called Change or Die. The book proved that most people would rather die than change. So this is not for the masses. Even the book of life says, the road to life is straight and narrow, and few there be that find it. Why? Because the majority of people not looking for life. They just want to survive and be entertained and have a good time. Step out of line. You don't want to be like everybody else. Step out of line.
Here's my advice to you today. Walk away from the 97%. Don't talk like they talk. Don't go where they go. Don't act like they act. Don't specialize in what they specialize in. Throw away the blame lists they cling to.
Your environment can hypnotize, mesmerize, and paralyze you. If you want to be successful, watch successful people and do what successful people do. The best thing to do for the poor is not to be one of them. Most people, because they're lazy, because of doubt, they're stuck. And many of them are waiting on God, and God is waiting on them. Pray as if everything depends upon God, and work as if everything depends upon you. This is your time. There's more opportunity now than ever before. Don't spend time around people who are whining. This is the time that you have to take matters in your own hand. I don't like this life that I'm living. Something's got to give. I'm tired of getting my paycheck and it was gone before I even cash it. Something's got to give.
Your life is in your hands. Every decision you make, every habit you build, and every action you take determines where you will end up. If you don't take control, life will control you. Other people's expectations, distractions, and fears will shape your destiny if you let them. But you are not here to be a spectator. You are here to take charge, to step up, and to create the future you deserve. The first step to taking control is accepting responsibility. No one is coming to save you. No one owes you anything. It doesn't matter what happened in the past, it's done. What matters is what you do next. Will you let the past define you, or will you rise above it? Will you keep making excuses, or will you take action? The choice is yours, and it always has been. Stop blaming circumstances, stop blaming people, and stop blaming bad luck. The only way forward is through ownership. Own your choices, own your mistakes, and own your potential. Because the moment you take full responsibility for your life, you gain the power to change it. Taking control means setting clear goals. What do you want? Where do you want to be in a year, in 5 years, in 10? If you don't know where you're going, how do you expect to get there? Stop drifting through life and start directing it. Define your vision, write it down, and commit to it. But a vision without action is just a dream. So once you know what you want, you must execute. You must move. You must act. You must put in the work. The only way to transform your life is through consistent, relentless effort. There are no shortcuts, no easy routes, and no magic formulas. It's about discipline, daily habits, and pushing yourself even when you don't feel like it. Taking control also means eliminating distractions. Cut out the nonsense, the negative influences, and the things that steal your time. Social media, toxic people, meaningless entertainment. These are all traps designed to keep you passive, weak, and distracted. Replace them with growth, with learning, with actions that move you forward. Most people live their lives reacting to what happens to them. They complain about their problems, but do nothing to fix them. They let fear dictate their choices, and they let comfort keep them stagnant. But you are not most people. You are here to take charge, to make things happen, and to create a life of purpose. Discipline is the key to control. Motivation fades, but discipline stays. You will not always feel like working, like improving, like pushing forward. That is why you need to train yourself to act regardless of how you feel. Wake up early, stick to your plans, do the hard things even when you want to quit. That is how you gain control over yourself, and that is how you gain control over your life. The road will not be easy. You will face setbacks, failures, and obstacles that will test you. But every challenge is an opportunity to prove to yourself that you are in control. Do not let difficulties break you. Let them strengthen you. Every time you push through, you become stronger, wiser, and more unstoppable. And remember, taking control is not just about achieving success. It's about becoming the person you were meant to be. It's about growth, about self-mastery, about living with intention. It's about looking in the mirror and knowing that you are not a product of chance, but a product of your choices. So the time is now. No more waiting, no more delaying, no more living on autopilot. Take control of your habits, take control of your mindset, take control of your future. Start today, start now, and don't stop until you become everything you were meant to be.